You are watching NewsHour's World. The Russian Black Sea Fleet has taken the unprecedented action of firing warning shots at a civilian vessel within the context of this ongoing conflict. Reports reveal that a Russian warship engaged a civilian ship in the Black Sea, employing automatic gunfire and a military helicopter. This incident represents a marked escalation in the hostilities. While the initially claimed destination of the ship was Ishmael, a Ukrainian port, official records have contradicted this assertion by indicating the vessel's actual route was towards a port in Romania. The primary rationale underlying Russia's decision to target a civilian vessel remains speculative, as only President Putin possesses accurate insight. However, conjecture points to several potential motivations. Foremost among them is the notion that disrupting Ukraine's status as the sixth-largest global grain exporter could severely impede its revenue stream, thereby diminishing its capacity to sustain military operations. Yet, it is pertinent to acknowledge that Russia, being a major global grain supplier, has a vested interest in higher grain prices. Nonetheless, the consequences of such a strategic move are multifaceted. The resultant scarcity and elevated prices of grain could have dire repercussions for food-scarce regions worldwide, primarily impacting impoverished nations. The humanitarian coordinator's visit to the Danube port of Izmail has underscored the gravity of this situation, revealing that the damaged grain storage facility could have fed a substantial population for a day. A geopolitical dimension emerges when considering Russia's actions in light of its relations with African nations. Historically, Africa has been a notable supporter of Russia in international forums, such as the UN Security Council. The recent Russian-Africa conference, however, witnessed a diminished turnout, signaling waning support. President Putin's pledge to provide free grain to select African nations, while symbolically significant, only accounts for a negligible portion of their grain needs. This geopolitical backdrop adds further complexity to the situation. The geographical nuances of grain transportation also merit consideration. While alternate land routes exist for Ukrainian grain exports, their feasibility is limited by the voluminous nature of such shipments. The river Danube serves as another potential conduit, albeit a slower and costlier one. However, even this route has not remained immune from Russian targeting, potentially leading to miscalculations with neighboring NATO-affiliated countries. Importantly, the act of targeting civilian vessels and essential food supplies carries legal and ethical implications. International law and the Geneva Convention categorically forbid the deliberate targeting of civilian entities, including food sources. At face value, one could conclude that President Putin's intent is to weaken Ukraine's economic resilience by hampering its grain exports, thereby compelling it towards negotiation. However, broader considerations suggest a nuanced perspective. The ongoing conflict poses challenges for President Putin's strategic ambitions, rendering a pause in hostilities potentially advantageous. Balancing the optics of seeking a pause against appearing weak, President Putin could maneuver to rally international pressure for de-escalation, thus securing a more favorable position at the negotiating table. In conclusion, the multifaceted motivations behind the Russian Black Sea Fleet's targeting of a civilian vessel involve complex considerations. While economic disruption is a conceivable aim, broader geopolitical, economic, and humanitarian dynamics are interwoven into this scenario. President Putin's tactics likely involve a combination of objectives, seeking to recalibrate the conflict's trajectory in a manner more aligned with Russia's strategic goals. Thanks for watching NewsHours.